Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 12 upsets to bet. Nobody hits more upsets than us. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the first game. NFC North. We got my Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. The Bears plus 3.5. I think the Bears win the game. And this isn't so much about the Bears. We'll get to them later. But let's get to my Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I'm enjoying the season. I'm enjoying the two-head coaching conglomerate of Flores and O'Connell. They've been absolutely phenomenal. But those are the strengths of the Vikings. The way they're playing football right now, it's ugly to watch. And a lot of it comes down to Sam Darnold. We called him Sunshine early in the year. He was lining our pockets like the sun lines us with vitamin D. But I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him in the red zone. I'm worried about him on the road. They were able to take care of business at Tennessee. I was wrong about that. I thought Tennessee would cover, but they did not look good doing it, and Sam Darnold did not answer many of my qualms. And when you get in these tough divisional games, everyone thought the Packers would blow past the Bears last week, and that just didn't happen, and I think the Vikings will struggle here, and I think this will be a one-score game. Now, you worry about the Bears stopping the run. That's been an issue on this defense the whole year, but I think they can load up and they can force Sam Darnold to pass it. Will there be big plays? Yes, Addison and Jefferson are absolutely magisterial when it comes to the big plays, but if you get the Vikings in the red zone, I think you can force turnovers and I think you can make them kick field goals. We also saw Caleb Williams that was more decisive. They get rid of Waldron, and I think that was a little bit of a nothing burger, but this team did need a little bit of a shot. They did need a little bit of a lobotomy, so to speak, something to shake things up. And one thing I liked out of Caleb last week, he was more decisive. He wasn't holding on to the ball as long, and we saw him actually working some read option. I know this Vikings defense is a terrible matchup for him. They put pressure on the quarterback, and this Bears offensive line obviously struggles to pick up blitzes. But I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. Under's going to be in play, and I think the Bears pull it out. I don't think there's a lot of science here. I just think this is a bad spot for the Vikings. Second week in a row on the road. I feel like the Vikings are due to lose one. It's my team, but I'm not obsessed with you guys about my team. My team is who's making us money every fucking weekend. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders plus 5.5. Listen, I took some egg on the face last week with the Falcons. I took a lot of egg on the face. Let's be honest about it. And we got to give credit to this Broncos team. And I mentioned O'Connell and Flores in the previous pick, but the other great coaching staff this year has been Sean Payton and Vance Joseph. But I do think there's a limit to what they can do and the magic they can work. And one thing we know about the Falcons is they're a poorly coached team. I'm not saying Antonio Pierce is some sort of genius. I'm not saying he's like the new Tom Coughlin. But I do think Antonio Pierce knows how to get his guys ready to roll. I do think this Raiders defense is a lot better than the Falcons defense. I do think this Raiders defense will be up to the challenge. And I do think this Raiders team thoroughly outplayed the Broncos in the first meeting. Obviously, when you have Minshew at quarterback, it is a big liability. Bo Nix is starting to play better. But may I ask you, did any of you guys watch that Falcons film? I know the Bills Chiefs was on at the same time, but did any of you guys watch that Falcons film? A lot of it was great play design, screens, misdirection, screens to Mims, and that's how Bo Nix amassed those passing yards. I just don't think that works against the Raiders. This Raiders defense gets quick pressures, and that's one thing the Broncos give up a lot. They can't run the football, and they're not all that great at pass blocking. Yes, Bo Nix is athletic. He knows how to get out of the pocket, but I think the Raiders will have their match. And in the first matchup, the Raiders were able to run the ball against this Broncos defense. Is this Broncos defense good? Hell yeah, they are. Are they elite? They're not close, my friends. And I think the Raiders will do just enough on offense to win this game. I absolutely love the Raiders plus 5.5. Do I have the balls to bet it? You'll see at the end of the week. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers at home in Charlotte. Chiefs coming to Charlotte. Listen to my directions. Don't just go pound Panthers money line because I announced the game. There's specific directions with this. Here's how I want you guys to attack it. I want you to attack it one of two ways. I want you to go Panthers first half money line. I'll give my reason later. I want you to go Panthers plus 6.5. Move that down, get plus money, and let's see what happens. Now, here's the rationale. This is a Chiefs team that has been sleepwalking this whole year. Have we seen them have lazy type regular seasons before? Yes. We know they want to be peaking early December, early January. We know that's the MO of a team that wins Super Bowls. Fair enough. Okay, great. But I do not like the way they've been looking in games this whole year. That's why we waited in the weeds, in the top of the tree like a panther in the Amazon, and we pounced and we got that big Bills bet, and that felt fucking good. Now, this one isn't as automatic because this is why it's an upset show. This is why it's a long shot show. But here's my rationale. I think the Chiefs start slow in this game. Second week straight on the road. I'm not saying Charlotte is a tough place to go, like Mile High, Superdome, Miami at 1 o'clock. I'm not saying anything like that. So before you get to the keyboards, listen to what I'm fucking saying. But here's what I'm saying. I think the Chiefs start slow in this game. And like when we picked the Panthers to money line against the Giants when everyone said we were wrong except us, I think Bryce Young put together 3 decent performances, and I think that's enough to maybe shell shock a Chiefs defense. Maybe that's enough to get up if the Chiefs come in here slovenly. Now, I know Pacheco will probably be back. The Achilles heel of this Panthers defense is their front 7. They can't stop the run. But one thing you're getting out of the Panthers is verb. You're getting effort. They're not quitting on Canales. And if you give me Thielen and Leggett, and you give me Chuba Hubbard running the ball, Jonathan Brooks making his NFL debut, I think this Panthers offense can manufacture 17 and 20 points. That's why I think the Panthers first half money line is alive and well. And when you look at the Chiefs, when you look at their dichotomy throughout the years, they almost approach these games when they're laying 9, when they're laying 7, when they're laying 12, when they're laying 11 like this game. They kind of approach it like an NBA team. They just kind of churn it on in the late third quarter, and they expect to buzz by you, and they'll probably be able to buzz by the Panthers just due to talent level alone, the Patrick Mahomes price, like some of you guys say on Discord. But I do think the Panthers come out and start this game strong, and there are fundamentals in the Panthers' favor. Off a bye week, off a good performance against the Giants. I think the Panthers can do this in the first half. I'm not going full game. Your boy's not going crazy. You don't need to put me in a straitjacket. Let's get this money. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. The best gambling show on the internet. But if you had to take one of these long shots, you had to take one of them, give me the Raiders at home in Vegas against the damn Broncos.